morning, everyone. Aaron from Pig Brig Trap Systems. Ordinarily, one pig brig will be sufficient for what you need to do in your pig mitigation efforts, but sometimes there are those instances where a second pig brig may be what you need in a given area, and that's what we're going to talk to you today about. So we need to answer the question of who could potentially need multiple traps in a given area. One is going to be those large acreage landowners with 500 or more acres. The second would be those government entities, government agencies, or large acreage management companies that may have to think about other places that they need to be at a given time. So let's answer the question of why would you possibly need this setup with multiple traps in a given area. One is going to be a quicker, more efficient approach to that mitigation effort there, where you can condense a given area with multiple traps and expediting the removal of those animals in that given area. Another reason it could be that you have less ground to cover whenever you take into context a large tract of land that may have population densities scattered throughout, where you can saturate a given area of a high population density, focus on that given area, take that population down to acceptable levels, and then move on to the next location. In the meantime, you're conditioning animals in given areas where you spend less time in a given area as opposed to having a single trap that you're trying to accomplish your goals. Another consideration to think about with multiple trap locations in a given area is that if you have traps scattered across the landscape, you're going to have to think about human resources and sending people to the individual locations to take care of what needs to be done at those individual sites. So with condensed locations and condensed trapping in a given area, it's fewer people that you have to put in a field. And additionally, if you can take care of those pigs in a shorter time frame, in a more concise, condensed time frame, then now you have better planning options there where you can send your people to different locations as appropriate, saving you much time on its physical time, your human resources, your logistical resources, and wear and tear like your vehicles, fuel, and whatnot. And finally, and maybe most important for you in your situation, is a concept that we call trap aversion. Whenever we think about trap aversion, that's anything that could prevent an animal from wanting to enter that trap. So that's something that we see most often whenever we think about sows that may be bred or may have pigs at side. And whenever they encounter a trap to find mature boars there, breeding age boars in that trap, they can be very reluctant to enter that trap with a young at side or being bred. Whereas that would, in a single trap situation, cause you to have to spend multiple days in field to try to catch that sounder and remove them from the landscape. Whereas with a second trap that's in the area in close proximity, typically within 100 yards, that female will just refocus her attention on that alternative trap option and then be able to remove that sounder from the area in a very short period of time, making you 2 catches in a shorter period. Just like there's protocols with a single trap setup event, there are protocols that we need to follow when we're thinking about a multiple trap setup event in close proximity. First and foremost, we want to occupy the same area that those animals are going to occupy themselves. So when we think about the distance between traps, we're thinking probably not more than 100 yards. Want to stay close together. We want to make sure that we build some type of a rise in the topography if that's an option on your particular setting, or it could be that we put some kind of vegetation between the two traps to prevent those pigs from being able to see one or the other of the traps. So that's something to kind of keep in mind in addition to a single trap setup when we're thinking about deploying 2 traps in a given area. Just like in single trap events, single trap locations, we need to think that conditioning is the most important factor, the most important step in being successful in our trapping efforts. So whenever we have a multiple trap setting and we're there in close proximity to one another, conditioning is obviously still going to be paramount in that decision-making tree. We have to condition those traps the same way with the same bait, same time of the day. So we want to make sure that repetition is in place, that those pigs get accustomed to and acclimated to as well. So one of the things we need to think about, though, in addition to a single trap setup, single trap location, is that now we have to think about entry and egress into that trap location with regard to human safety, with regard to the animals' occupations of those traps or the animals' visitations of those traps. So with that, we need to kind of keep that in the first and foremost forefront of our minds when we think about this multiple trap event. The success is going to depend on you, the trap conditioning, and how we get those traps set up. So if you feel like this may fit your criteria where you need multiple traps in a given location, use some of these things we've discussed to make sure that your decision is well based. And always too, remember us at Pig Brig, we're here to help you. So give us a call, let us talk through this a little bit, make sure it's the right thing for you. And as always, stay safe, happy trapping.